Hello everybody, my name is Anita Makharia and my company's name is Shubkamnae. We are into the business of celebrating your happiness and creating mesmerizing events. Welcome everybody for our second session on entrepreneurial competencies. We would like to take the discussion forward. We will just glance through on what we had learned in our previous class. In our previous class, we had learned on what do you mean by an entrepreneur. And who's an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a passionate person who wants to start or run his own business, and he has certain skill sets, some which are inborn and some which he is going to upgrade himself with some skills, like be it your communications, be it your other skill sets which are required. Okay, and we had already also discussed about what are the skills that are required, be it your personal competencies like creativity, being determined, having strong integrity, being strong on your work ethics, being analytical in nature, your interpersonal skills such as communication, delegation. These were a few of your interpersonal skills which were required. Then business competency skills is having the right vision, having a good strong resource management, having great negotiation skills. It also included your networking skills, which also comes closer to your competency skills as well. We had also discussed on what the competencies could be represented with, like your skills, your knowledge, your attitudes, and your traits. And it is the core strength of any entrepreneur to develop his organization further, that is having strong personal and managerial skills with the right set of educations, trainings, and interest components. And what were skills? Skills are characteristics or abilities wherein we engage in a certain behavior. Does it always mean if you're good, if you're competitive, if you have competency skills, does it mean that you're always a good entrepreneur? No, because there are lots of other things which go into it, as in analyzing your risks, being creative, and you need to display and demonstrate everything through action and through your behaviors. So if you look at it, entrepreneurial competencies are actually defined as a high level of characteristic which is represented in by total entrepreneurial ability to perform the roles. Okay, so it includes all your knowledge, your skills, your personality traits, the way you get influence or you can influence, knowledge, trainings, and the backgrounds from which you and your team are coming from. So this was what we had learned about competencies. We had also discussed about what you mean by event feasibilities, coming up with ideas and choosing which are the best possible options through using the screening progress as well. We could not discuss much on progressing the idea. So in today's session, I will start more on progressing the idea. Today, what we will be learning would include progressing the idea, how to have a competitive advantage over the other entrepreneurs in the market, what are the critical success factors that may help you in having this competitive edge, what do you mean by problem analysis, what do you mean by opportunity and resource analysis, what could be the possible demands and challenges faced by an event manager. Before I would take this session forward, I would request you to have a pen and paper handy so that you can make notes as we take this session. In case you need to take your water bottles, please have all these things handy, and not just for today's session, for all the sessions here on as well. This helps you in making notes and remembering what was taught in this particular session. So are we all set? Yes, we are all set always. So we've been talking about progressing with an idea. The phrase itself is self-explanatory, that is, you are progressing with one particular idea. After doing the feasibility study and going through the screening process, you have understood that one or two or three ideas are the best suitable ideas amongst the all possible options available with you. So here you brainstorm with your team, you sit down, you see what is the best possible thing that could be done, okay, and what are the best available options as in terms of ideas and the resources, and does it fit into your financial planning, and have you taken care of the operational feasibility? Are these ideas finally acceptable considering the vulnerability of that particular project? That is the goal and objective of the particular client that you are doing. Have you analyzed all these risks? Are you able to plan and present to the client? Was there any risk factor that was involved, and are you prepared and competitive enough for that particular risk? So after all this analysis, one final proposal will be made and will be shared with the client depending on the suitable date, time, where there are small logistic problems like was there sufficient parking, is it an indoor or outdoor event, who is going to be responsible for what. So when you start coming to this pre-planning stage, that is when it is told that you are actually progressing with an idea. You add detailing to these particular ideas and present it to the client. Now, when you are presenting to the client, there are options that there are other event planners also who may pitch in. So how do you have a competitive edge? Remember all the skill sets that we had discussed about being a good event planner? Yes, that is a skill set which will actually give you a competitive edge over the other event planners in the industry. So the basic points that you always need to remember is that since we live in a very, very competitive world, we need to make sure that you have the bargaining power of your suppliers. When you enjoy the bargaining power of your suppliers, you can pass on this benefit to the clients or who may be exposed to other event planners or new entrants into the business. You should be able to coordinate this event by using your right resources. What you have in-house, what are your internal resources, use them optimally and outsource certain activities either through a coordinator or through your vendors and suppliers, whatever works best to you in the most possible way, wherein there's no compromise on the quality. You are reducing the overhead expenses, okay, so that you can actually fight the competition of the market. You understand the event quality that is there and how important it is for you to come up with a strong strategy plan wherein you are actually setting a benchmark with every event. All the variations, all the innovations, all the strategic important points, all to be noted along with proper experience and constant review in such a manner that you actually end up with making a profit for your business. In order to have this competitive advantage over all your other event planners who are in the same industry, it is very important for you to have certain success factors where there is absolutely no scope for compromise. These are must-to-do elements to make sure that you are doing a successful event. The importance to your critical success factors are very important to ensure higher performance as a company. So basically, if you look at this, the success of any business would depend on the right plans and strategies. I'm sure most of you know about it and agree with us. So basically, you need to do certain analysis of what your strengths and weaknesses are. What are the opportunities available for you? What are the threats in this industry? Okay, work always on your strengths. Those are something which nobody can take away from you. Focus on your weakness areas and try to convert them into your strengths. Never let go of any opportunity, and when there is a threat, Strategize or plan in such a way that you don't let the threat win over you, you win over your threats. Have your mission very, very clear. You should understand the objective of doing this particular event. Okay. Once you have your mission and your objective very clear, you strategize your structure in such a manner that you have gone through all your resources, who is doing what are the guidelines which you all are going to follow, and then start implementing these strategies. This will include a lot of budgeting, a lot of processes, a lot of procedures to be followed, and constant monitoring on each and every element is of utmost importance, especially when it comes to execution. You need to have a solid control on that particular event and always be welcome to feedbacks, because feedbacks are the best way to improvise and to grow. The other factors which are very critical to embark your success as a business owner are being specialists in what you do. Okay, you should know your business very well. You should be versatile. Okay, be a specialist in all that you're doing and have the right knowledge of the equipments, of the resources, of the vendors and suppliers, of the client's requirements, and work accordingly. You may have to work on many smaller aspects of the events also. So you have to be a multitasker wherein you are able to pool in all your resources on time in the best and optimum way. You need to be very strong on your time management. Make sure that you have your all the planning done well. You have and you work backwards towards achieving of that goal. Okay, so have your time plans on mind, have your deadlines. Start following up much before your deadline, so that in case there's a last minute change which is required or something is not available, you have time and control in actually getting the other resources as well. Okay, you need to have the right strategies in place, because strategy plays a vital role right from the beginning of the event to ensure that the entire event is managed very well. You need to be very, very passionate and hardworking to as a person. Your strong communication skills will always help you in communicating respectfully, clearly with all your clients, your suppliers and vendors, with your colleagues, with your staff, and with other departments as well. One of the best ways to improvise always is by learning by doing. You learn by doing, and you are always constantly doing by learning what you've been doing. Okay, this may sound a little confusing, so just think about it. If you've learned if you've learned a particular skill, until you start using that skill, you cannot master it. And at times, to master something, you need to keep repeatedly doing it. It's similar to your maths. The more you practice your problem solving and your sums in maths, the better you get at it. Similarly, with your event industry, keep thinking, keep ideating, keep trying, do it again and again and again, and success is yours. So, as we were talking about the critical success factors, list down what, according to you, are your core strengths when it comes to skills and competencies. Okay, and what are the areas that you would like to work upon? We shall now move to the next topic, which is problem analysis. What is a problem? Very simple. What is a problem? A problem is a question mark which comes in between and puts a pause on your activity. So here you need to identify what the problem is. What, who, where, when, whom, which, what, why. These are questions which you need to repeatedly ask to identify what is the core problem. For example, if you want to do it at the end of the event, you could Did we meet the objective? No, we did not meet. Where did we go wrong? What was it that we missed? Whom should we connect with for this? When did we go wrong? How did it not come into our planning stage? So, this is when you identify a problem and define it. You explore the reasons for why you had that particular problem and try to take corrective action. Then look back upon and make sure that this problem is not repeated ever again. Okay, so a lot of reviewing is very important. After every meeting, having a briefing and debriefing sessions, or after every meeting, after every event also, it is very necessary that you review your events. Okay, it is not only necessary from the client's perspective, it is also important from the perspective of you being a business owner or being a stakeholder in that particular event as well. There was this one incident I remember in one of the weddings where I attended as a guest. So while just looking around, I suddenly saw that there was a commotion at an ice cream a counter. Okay, so there was a lot of chaos because one child didn't get the ice cream, and as always, the mother was a little kind of maybe a little annoyed that her child didn't get ice cream. How can there be no ice cream in a wedding? Now, what was the problem? The mother shouting is the problem. Child not getting the ice cream is the problem. Was the ice cream over? Was it under? Was the order given as lesser than what was required? Was it an under order or was it over demand? Sometimes when the ice creams are very tasty, people may tend to take extra servings, wherein the caterer or the event planner must have overlooked that part of it. Or was it that extra ice cream was already ordered and it hasn't reached? So it is very important that you identify what is actually the problem, so that in the next time, in the next event when you conduct, you make sure that that problem does not happen. So you need to understand the level of satisfactions. Okay, what are your problem areas? Rank these problem areas in terms of priorities and seriousness of a problem. Sort out all these issues, identify the right authority or the person for this kind of a problem solving nature. Okay, I would also like to discuss a little more on the opportunity and resource analysis. Okay, so you have a lot of options as an event planner or as an event manager or an event designer. You have various options. Okay, you can get into any department, be it the entertainment, be it logistics, be it finance, be it travels, be it engineers, being weddings, food and beverages. So there are a lot of opportunities available for you. Now, based on your knowledge, excuse me, based on your knowledge, based on your interest, the kind of skill sets that you possess, you choose one of your core strengths and take this as a compatibility with the opportunity. Okay, and then you actually multiply all your resources optimally and take it forward. So while you place all the opportunities in the level of priorities, that is when you become a contributor to the firm. But events are not so easy to handle. Okay, so there are a lot of challenges that you may face in the course of an event. First of all, getting the right ideation or the right concepts or a clear understanding of the client requirements is one of the biggest challenges that we face. Second is, what is the budget? What are the finances that are going to be involved? Because until you have a clear-cut concept of what the client wants and what you are ready to offer, you cannot work on your finances. And in most of the cases, you don't actually know what is the budget of the client. These are things which you need to analyze through the discussions which you've had, and take those small hints in every discussion. Okay, and accordingly ideate and find the suitable resources for this. what happens is, another problem that comes is having the last minute changes in the schedule or element list. Are you able to manage these last minute requirements? Say the client had asked for only a photographer, okay, but now the client wants you to add a videographer just the night before he calls you around, say, 1 o'clock in the night. Tomorrow morning is the event, and the client tells you, hey Anita, I told you to arrange for a photographing team, but I just realized that we need to have videographers as well. If possible, can you arrange for the drone shoot too? The event is next day morning. He's making a call to me after 12 o'clock in the night. Now, is this time enough for me to arrange for an equally good videographer and a drone team? Okay. Now, this is where your core competency comes. At any point of time, you should be equipped to handle these situations with the right resources that are available. So, the best utilization of the resources that are available in the least possible costs, including all your last minute changes, are the challenges which you may face as an event planner. To make sure that you are competitive enough to face these challenges and win over them, there are 4 fundamental set of tools that entrepreneurs need to use and implement in their journey of the entrepreneurship. Rule number 1 is the right usage of words. It involves very strong communication and effectively conveying a compellable, believable vision. Okay. So, why is choosing the right set of words very important? Because that is when the client decides whether you need to do you are selected as event planner or not. Similarly, goes with the suppliers and vendors. It strengthens your relationships in variety of ways. For productive strategies, actions are very important. Okay, it sets the picture for the future of the venture as well. Having the words and actions are very important in playing a vital role in influencing the gatekeeper. Here, your interpersonal skills and strategies also are very important to build a better relationships. So, your association with the client, your association with your fellow vendors, with your team members, with your staff is very important. There are always tangible and intangible set of skills which are very important. The final set of tools relates to the variety of soft assets, soft skills, which includes your capabilities, your intellectual capital, wherein you are able to convince the resource gatekeepers for your venture. Okay. Before this, I would like to also just say a few words upon how a manager needs to react to changes. What is the difference between a manager and an event planner? An event planner is a business owner. Okay. He is responsible for the growth of the company. He adapts to changes. Communication problem solving is his skill. Okay, he's very proactive, ready to adapt to changes. He takes risks. He's seeking opportunities. He's a strong networker. He is a leader, a decision maker, a creative thinker as well. Okay. So when you have different mindsets, where your brain dominance is there, when there is a lot of value orientation, it is very important that you have the right mindset of being the best entrepreneur and taking your company to new heights. So what we learned today is how do you progress with an idea, how to have a competitive edge over your other event planners. What are the critical success factors? Were you able to identify and analyze a problem? What is the opportunity and resource analysis? What are the demands and challenges faced by any entrepreneur? Having discussed about all this, I'm sure you will be able to do the small little activity. Say if a client wants you to add two through three elements just the night before the event, what would you do? What are the factors that you would consider to accept or not to accept this request? And how do you communicate the same to the client? Please remember, there are many factors which go into deciding whether this is feasible or not. So you'll have to think about the feasibility. You'll have to do the screening. Remember that you're a business entrepreneur. So when I talk about business entrepreneur, make sure that whatever you think about should not be a loss to you or to your company as well. But of course, you will again gauge this with the intangible benefit which you may get. So if you sometimes what happens is when you go out of your way and serve like for this last minute request, if you are able to cater to this last minute request, the client will always remember you. So either you look at it as a loss of business, or look at it as a building of goodwill. Look at it in simple ways that you can tell, sir, this was not evaluated in the estimates. This may be an additional cost. I shall anyway share the estimate with you. If you're okay with it, we shall proceed forward. Yes, I am able to provide you these particular elements as well. Okay. So now see whether you are in a position to safe side yourself always. Okay. With this, we come to an end of the session. I hope you had found this session very informative and were able to understand this. In case you have any doubts, you may write to me at anitamarkaria@gmail.com. Until then, please stay safe. Please go through your previous sessions and looking forward to the next session with you all. Thank you.